Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So actually today we are just pulling out a tech for 770 out here at Rudys Truck Jam. It's out here at Piedmont Dragway in North Carolina. So I can't run 670 at this event because I don't have a roll cage in this truck, unfortunately. So we're gonna try our hand at slowing down for 770. The weather's not looking too promising, but tonight they're actually gonna have a gambler's race, which is essentially an ET bracket. So what we're thinking about doing is trying to get in on that race just to get a few more passes in with the truck. So we'll see what happens. But till then, we'll catch up with y'all in a little bit.
Big commitment for Austin Jenny to get out here and go for it in 590. Yeah, coming out of Southern Virginia. Gambler 2-2, guys, to start lining up, lanes 1 and 2. Gambler 2-2, first car, lanes 1 and 2.
Alright, so we've been doing a lot of running around today. I don't really know why they chose to do the schedule the way they did, but it was a whole day of a lot of standing around and just shooting the crap with everybody we came out here with. We took a few minutes to weigh all the trucks and see what they were like on a set of NHRA scales. But other than that, really wasn't a whole lot going on. But now here it is. I think it's about 6:30 right now, and we're finally in lanes for the gamblers race. So in ET and in this gamblers race, they're not super strict on the safety stuff. So as you can see, I have changed my dial in from 770 that I don't know how I'm going to run yet to 670. Now, of course, the smart, God, they were getting it. But of course, the smart thing to do would be to go ahead and, set it at 770. They're giving us 3 qualifying rounds, so they give me plenty of time to figure it out today. But I like to go faster than 770. That's why I built the truck. So we changed the dial in to 670, which is what I can run at Truck Wars. And I'm going to try to run the gamblers race tonight at 670. And then Sunday, we'll just kind of wing it for 770 and just see if we can make it a round or two. But anyways, we'll catch up after we make this pass and see how things went. Alright guys, we're coming down the return lanes and see what we're looking like. So I went red just a little bit, 006 red. Alright, finally stopped. So if the camera would focus. So it went 006 red, 162 60 foot, 687 at 101. So that was on tune 2. We're gonna bump it up to tune 3 for the next pass and we'll see what it does. See if we can get it to 670 for this bracket here.
Gambler TT, guys, to start lining up, lanes 1 and 2. Gambler TT, first car, lanes 1 and 2. Silver and black truck left side, Trent Owens right side. Start on a 600, turn over to 670.
All right, guys, so as you can tell behind me, I am already home from Rudy's. The original plan was to kind of do an update in between rounds, and we ended up running the gamblers race into late Friday night, and it was dark. There weren't really any lights in the staging lanes to assist with the video, I guess you would say, and the interior lights in the truck weren't bright enough. It had a real bad glare and the quality just sucked. So figured I'd wait till we got home to go ahead and do a quick little recap of how the event went. So if you recall in the last video, we were doing some testing and trying to figure out how to make this thing run 770. It even on tune 1 is way too fast in the normal setup to run 770. So I had a setup that I thought was going to be fairly close, fairly consistent, leaving on 15 pounds, tune 1, no lockup, and it ran a 760. So that was enough. I could get on the brakes at the top end, slow down, and try to make it a few rounds. Well, as we got home and I got looking over videos, I was just noticing how smoky the truck was, and it just didn't seem right. It seemed like something was going on. So we got to investigating, and this is what we found. So we found this boot here. This is a 3.5-inch boot that goes up. It's the one that hooks to the intake horn here. It goes up in the intake. Now, we noticed this going into, I guess it was the day before I actually went up to Rudy's. So it was kind of last minute. I didn't have time to order one and get it here in time. So I reached out to some people online, and Johnny Gilbert with Stainless was able to come through for me, and he brought me a couple spares to the track. So first thing when we got there, went ahead, got it swapped out, tightened down. It held up great through the weekend. I really appreciate those guys bringing it out for me. So originally I was just planning on running 770 Saturday. Well, the event got pushed back to Sunday, and so they were doing a gamblers race Friday night, and they weren't having any test and tune. So with not having any time on the truck, trying to run these times, whatever, a bunch of guys were getting in on the gamblers race just because there was 3 qualifying rounds before elimination, so you automatically had 4 given passes to try to figure your stuff out. So you had to have tech cards in by 5 o'clock, and I think it was like 4:55 when I finally decided I was going to get in on it. And I put in my tech card and signed up for the race. And as I said earlier, I was sitting in the staging lanes, and I knew the truck wasn't going to be super consistent, trying to slow down enough to run 770. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go back to what the truck likes to do. We're going to set it on a 670 setup and just see if we can make it rounds Friday night. If so, cool. If not, then come Sunday, we'll just try to slow down for 770. So here's the time slip from the first qualifying run. Actually, just for reference, every pass I made this weekend just so happened to be in the right lane. So it'll always be right-hand side. So anyways, first pass I red lit just a little bit, 006 red, 162, 60 foot, so it wasn't terrible, but wasn't that great of a launch. And we went 687 at 101. So we went 687 at 101, and that was on like a moderate launch. I wasn't really getting after it that hard, just wanted to see what the truck would do at that track. The truck hooked up great, everything felt great, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it one more time, launch just a little bit harder going into the next qualifying round and see if we can get it to the 670s. If not, then I would switch tunes. So going into second round qualifying, I actually had to line up with Brent, and his truck is killer in 670. And just so happened we both put a 670 dial in, so it should be a pretty close race. So this is what the time slip looked like after me and Brent's run. So as far as the dial-in goes, he definitely has that truck dialed on 670, but he got a little bit antsy on the light, and he cut a little bit of a red light. I got an 026, which was awesome. 60 foot was about the same, and the ET, again, 687 right there at the same time that it previously ran. So like I said, it was at 687 on tune 2 again. So I decided going into the next round, I was gonna go ahead and switch it over to tune 3, let it have a little bit more power, and if we needed to, we could get into the brakes on the top end. So from here, I can't remember exactly how things went down. I know that we had 2 rounds of qualifying. The original plan was to have 3, but I feel like they might have cut out the 3rd round of qualifying and went straight into eliminations. So anyways, going forward, I can't remember if this next pass was 1st round eliminations or 3rd round qualifying. But anyways, this is how it turned out. On that pass, like I said, I went to tune 3, and I do remember I let off early. I think this was against the blue regular cab 2nd gen truck that I raced. I knew I treated him really good, and so as soon as I got past him, about, I don't know, it's probably about half track, I just kind of let off and coasted. I rolled back into it right before the finish line, you might be able to hear. But anyways, that accounts for the 94 miles an hour. But anyways, 685, 94, went on to the next round. All right, so going into the next round, like I said, left the truck on tune 3. I had let off early on the next round, so with the time that the truck ran and as hard as I had let out of it, I knew that breaking out was a possibility, so I had to be careful going forward. So this round, I ran up against the regular cab Duramax, which I later found out was actually these guys' first event with this truck on this setup. So they did really good, especially to run those times in it, man. The truck was moving. We went a 677 at 102. I was on the brakes pretty hard at the top end, but 158, 60 foot, 093 reaction. So, I mean, not the best reaction time, but the 60 foot was a little bit better. And the truck did what it was supposed to, and we went on to the next round. All right, so in the next round, I was racing Skylar in his silver 3rd gen. He's the one, if you notice, I raced at Truck Wars, and the, I think it was 2nd qualifying round, I ran him. And so here I ran into him yet again. So this time, let's see, his dial in was 690, and I had my dial in at 670.
Silver and black truck left side, Trent Owens right side. Skyler on a 680, Trent Owens a 670.
So as you can see, here was the outcome of that. He was on the brakes pretty hard at the top end, I believe, and actually so was I, but had a 060 reaction time, so that was decent. A 150 60 foot, which is my best 60 foot, so that was really good. The truck felt strong. Like I said, on the brakes up at the top end, and the truck went at 693. So the truck performed great that pass. Like I said, it's front half of the track, the truck did awesome. So can't really complain with how that went. So it just so happened that at this point, this was the semifinals, and there was 3 trucks left. So the truck with the fastest reaction time got to buy into the finals, which unfortunately was not me. So we had to make one more round before we can make it to the finals. I just so happened lining up against another silver 3rd gen. This time his dial-in was a 7.0, so going to be very similar to the previous pass, and this is how it worked out.
So this pass here was actually my worst reaction time of the whole entire weekend. It was a 1:14, which freaking sucked. But anyways, 154 60 foot, so that worked out pretty good. I was on the brake shed again at the top end, and the guy I was racing, man, his truck was dialed. He had a dial in at 7.0 and he went 7.09. So the truck was running great, but his reaction time is what got him on that one. So truck did what it's supposed to. Even though I didn't do the best, I was able to pull out in the wind and make it to the final round. So one thing I hadn't mentioned, I don't think, is that they had us doing I think it was round robin is what they were calling it, which actually was hot lapping us. So what they told us was every time you make it through a round, as soon as you get your time slip, come right back into staging lanes and run again. So at this point, the truck had made like 6 passes back to back. The truck wasn't hot, but it was warmer than what normal temps would be. So I was coming down the return lanes as quick as I could so I could coast, had the hood cracked open, trying to get some air in, and try to give it as much cool down time in between rounds as I could. Anyways, we were going into the finals. We were really excited about that. The guy that was putting on the event came up to us and asked us, said, hey, look, you know, at this point, it's up to y'all. Do you want to split the payout or do you want to run it winner take all? And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I didn't plan on coming to actually win anything anyway. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Just winner take all is fine with me. And the guy I was racing felt the same way. So we went into the final round. So if you've never raced a ET bracket or gambler's race, anything like that, the way that it works out is if one person, say their dial-in's a 7.0, the other person's in is a 10.0, then the person with a 10.0 dial-in will leave 3 seconds before the other person, and in a perfect world, you should both cross the line at the exact same time. So going into the finals, again, my dial-in was 670. The guy I was racing was a 770. So I had to sit there and watch him drive away from me for a second before I could move. And a second doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're sitting there on the line, staged, ready to go, and you're watching the guy that you're supposed to beat drive away from you before you're allowed to move, it's kind of nerve-wracking. But anyways, this is how the final round went. So while I definitely don't want to take it this way, I wasn't going to complain with the money. So the guy, it shows here that the guy red lit, and he did, but it wasn't because of him being jumpy. It looked like to me in the video he pushed through the brakes, which is unfortunate. I would much rather have raced somebody out for the win. But anyways, take it however we can get it. I'm not sure exactly what happened. The truck went a 685. So I don't know why it slowed down a little bit that pass, but the mile an hour was almost 106 miles an hour. So the best mile an hour the truck's had to date. As you see, the reaction time was only a 128, but I wasn't really pushing. I just didn't want to jump because I knew that he had already jumped and I didn't want to throw the run away. So anyways, like I said, we were actually able to pull out the win at the first Odss race that I ever took this truck to. So that was super exciting. And while it wasn't actually an Odss race, it was at an Odss event. It was the gamblers race that was put on by the track. But regardless, it was super exciting. It was a field of 43 trucks. So a really big class of trucks, and we made it past some heavy hitters. So I was really excited about that. The truck did great. Nothing to complain about. The temp stayed fine. The only issue we had was when we did the head gasket, we hadn't secured the coolant bypass line up the way it needed to be, and we found it sitting on the manifold, and so it almost burned a hole through the hose. But we got that pulled up out of the way. We made it through the last round that way, and then we did a little bit of a quick repair on it the next morning. But anyways, like I said, we pulled out the win, got a little money put in our pocket to make up for those 625s we had to buy last week. As far as the rest of the crowd, they did pro qualifying Friday night. Buddy was able to pull out number one qualifier for 590 index. He went a 5.901. Trey was able to get his truck running all around the 590 times. Brian Jellick the same. So the hometown crowd was rocking. Nathan didn't get a chance to run his truck. He didn't get in on the gamblers race. So we'll see how his does going into Sunday. They actually pushed the event back because of rain, so we're gonna have that Sunday instead. Matt Santjer, he was able to make it down, but he didn't make it in time for qualifying, so they wouldn't let him run in the Gamblers race. So we'll see how the BMW can hold up against some 670 guys at the Odss event come Sunday. But anyways, that's pretty much a summary of what went down Friday night at Rudy's. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just end the video here, and I'll make another video for Sunday's events, because if not, this video will be ungodly long. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Tune in to the next one so you can see what happened at the actual Rudys Truck Jam season opener. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. See y'all in the next video.